What's going on, YouTube? Claykeysalt back again with another Final Fantasy Brave Exvius video, and today I asked my stream of the community what could happen in FFB in the next month that would make you happy and make you think the game was rising up. Well, guess what? We made a list, so let's get into it. Alright guys, so this is the beginning of a new series I want to keep up with on FFBE, where at the beginning of each month, starting this month, March, we're going to make a list, and with this list we're going to describe things we really want to see in the game, things that'll make us happy, things that we think need improvement, and we're going to start looking at different bugs that we can for sure point out, and then I can show it off, and I can show it off to you guys, and this is some way we can keep like a checkup on Gumi and Square Enix and how they're doing with the game. Essentially, we're going to pick out a bunch of stuff we'd like to see, things that it would make us happy with the game. As long as they're there, we're going to feel pretty good about the game. And then we're going to make some specific ones where we're going to put a little asterisk next to them, and we're going to say this is something we really want to see. As long as we see this, we're going to feel good. You know, very important, and there are going to be some that aren't so important. And then at the end of the month, I'm going to do, or at the beginning of the next month, I'm going to do another video where we check in on March, for example, for this next one, and then we're going to go into April. And if things don't get fixed, we're going to roll them over, and it's going to be like, let's say the friendless bug doesn't get fixed. It's going to be friendless bug 1 month, and we're going to keep going. We're going to keep track of how many months it actually takes. So through this, I think we're going to have some good rapport with the community and us, getting our ideas out there, keeping Gumi in check, making sure they're doing, you know, they're doing the game right and doing us right, and we're enjoying the game, while also keeping tabs on things maybe they're forgetting or it's getting brushed under the dust. So before we get into it, there are some things we're going to take off the table immediately. The first thing is, this list is specifically what you want to see this month, March, that will make you happy and make you feel better about the game. So things like maybe the 100 tower trial, rate ups being increased, as in like instead of 3%, maybe like a 7% rainbow rate, and lapis costs are going to be off the table. That's not going to happen this month, right? Now down the future, possibly these changes could be implemented, but we have been less than 4 weeks away from the big like blow up of everybody, the Reddit community, Facebook, and all the content creators. So there's going to have to be time that gets put into here. Now, we're not releasing them off the hook entirely, but I just want you guys to be realistic and make sure that you guys are being very, I don't know how to put it, very targeted with what is realistically going to happen with the game and what we know can be coming to us. You know what I mean? Like the things we know could happen. So without further ado, let's take a look at that list. All right, guys, so here is the list. Again, these are the things we want this month in March in FFBE. This is what I asked my Twitch community. We had plenty of people in there. They gave their opinions, and this is the list they had. Again, these are the things we think should be fixed by this month. Not something that needs several months to go down the line, but this is what we're going to look at the end of March and determine if they did a good job. So first up is the chest bug fix. And if you guys haven't experienced the chest bug, essentially what it is the chest looks all deformed, right? I'm sure you guys have seen it. What we've seen is that only is on Android and Amazon now. It is not happening on iOS, at least on my testing, and I have an iPhone 10 and then I have an iPad. I haven't seen it happening, and people are saying it's not. Now, the chest bug isn't that big of a deal, right? It's just a nasty-looking bug. It looks all crumbled up. It doesn't hurt the game, right? You still click it, you still got what you want out of it. But it means more than that, right? Because everybody sees it. Everybody's interacting with those chests. If they can't fix this simple bug and it's taken forever, it just makes you feel like they're not really fixing any bugs at all, right? So please fix that bug. It's very important. The next one we have here, and if it has an asterisk next to it, besides one of them, which is kind of like a real asterisk note, means that the community said, after we wrote them all, these are the ones that are very important to them, and they better see this at the end of the month, or there's going to be heads or roll. Essentially, that's what we're looking for, okay? Increased fuse rate event. So essentially, you know, enhancement, fusion of, like Cactuars together enhancement, or fusion rank experience up when you fuse into it, you know, doubling those odds up. We literally haven't had one of these events since, like, right before we were able to put Cactuars together. So that is kind of ridiculous. Also, this doesn't take any time to put into the game. This is a fix they can do right now for the community. Just implement the event. They have it in the game. It's not like it's tough. Put it in the game. Put the new dates on the same picture that you always use. Just put new dates of how long it lasts. Get that to us. We need that by the end of the month. That would be great. Next up, arena rewards need to be updating. And what they mean by that is, in JP's version, they have things called well weeks, where essentially there's a lot of great rewards in the arena for your rankings, and the reason they call it well weeks is because the top-end people get UOCs, but those top-end people are the people who just keep refilling until they get those UOCs, so the wells stay on top, but there are still nice rewards for everybody else. And you can actually compete and get in there pretty good for some good rewards, even if you are not a well, as long as you stay up on your arena. On top of that, what we would like to see is that arena tickets actually be worth something, because at this point, those boards and what you can summon with those tickets are outdated, and that needs to be updated. And that is something we also put an asterisk next to as something we really want to see this month. Arena needs to be revitalized, and it's something that needs to happen ASAP. Next up, which I'm surprised nobody put an asterisk here, is Xenogears or Secret of Mana need to come, right? That is the limited time banner collab that we want to see this month. It either needs to be Xenogears, and if it is Xenogears, it needs to not be nerfed. And what that means is, when it came out in JP, there were, you always got a Xenogear, like, character in a 5-star, if you got a 5-star rainbow. So there are no off-banner rainbows. On top of that, it did have the limited UOC, which is kind of what we experienced recently with that other banner that we talked about, last week. So that is something we need to see, and I know a lot of people are looking for Secret of Mana 2, so as long as one of those two happen this month, we'll be pretty happy about that. Next up, and I knew this would get an asterisk because it's very important, the trials. We need more trials. We need at least 2 or maybe even 3 trials a month. And these are the trials they said were most important. And again, I'm just jotting these down as people is typing, so there's probably like spelling errors or, grammar errors. I'm just typing it out, right, to put it down. So that's what you're looking at here. Gilgamesh Kai, which is Gilgamesh Reborn, right? It's one of the, once we get to Gilgamesh Reborn, while it still isn't super hard content, it is much harder than what we have. Pretty much a 7-star based trial fight, right? So it's going to be much tougher when it's giving us more of a challenge, giving us something to work for. Next up is the Dark Espers. You may see a 2 here. The reason I put 2 here is because we wanted to see both, but then we came to the conclusion that also if we see a global exclusive trial or the weapon trials, the Tin Mans, we're going to be fine with that as long as we see 2 of those. So as long as 2 of those happen this month, we're going to be okay with that and we're going to move on. Next up are the parameter missions or the expert missions. Now, I've got to be honest, I did veto this for an asterisk. I do know that a lot of people really want these, but in my opinion, that's not a big problem in the game. This will just feed the cycle. While it's nice, and while people will get a lot of goodies and some good weapons and some good equipment, it kind of feeds the cycle of, I get these goodies and then I'll summon with them, or I get UOCs and I use them and then I have nothing else to do. So while I think this is important to be implemented into the game and why I wrote it down here, I kind of asterisked it off because essentially it's just more rewards and nothing to do with them. So that's why I didn't put the asterisk there. Next up is the patch notes. So essentially, how they've been releasing the patch notes after each maintenance. Well, they've only done it like once, and they kind of did it to preliminarily. God, I suck at English. Anyway, before the patch notes happen, we want to see that continue, and that has a star next to it, meaning we really, really, really want to see that happen. Next up, people brought up limited time prisms, the Dragon Quest, the Trust Coin shop needs to be updated. So essentially, we didn't get the limited time prisms when it came out. We're about hitting that time in JP when they did get it, because we did get the Trust Coin shop early. And honestly, the Dragon Quest could have already been in there. So we're hoping to see that this month, and if not, at least next month. Or we're going to start putting a timer on there and bringing that up over and over. That needs to happen. This is one I really wish I would have marked off. Not that I don't think it should happen. Saved party loadouts. This does happen in JP, where essentially you can save the party loadout, I guess, with the equipment and stuff. But after asking, it seems, and that's why this actually doesn't really count. I put that before I started putting all these other ones. That's a while away from the update. Now, I'm not saying that Global shouldn't receive some of these quality of life early. I'm just saying I don't think that's really a, what am I trying to say here? I don't think that's really a viable option. That's all I'm going to say. Now, would I love to see it? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? No. That's why I'm doing that. Next up, the friend list needs to be fixed. And when I say this, I'm not referring to a new refresh button. Again, these things, if they're implementing new things into the game, they take time to program, they take time to make. Do I want a friend list refresh button? Yes. However, do I just want it to be fixed the way it was so it actually works how it's intended? Yes, even more so. So please, well, not even more so. The refresh button will be sweet, but please have the friend list fixed by the end of this month. It's been a problem for almost half a year to a year. I don't know when it exactly started, but I can't even remember that because it's been so far back. It's like the increased fuse rate. I don't know when that was. So please fix that. That needs to be done by the end of this month. Next up was news out on time. We want it out on Tuesday, Wednesday. All of the news, don't separate it. Don't put the banner on right at the beginning of maintenance, right before it happens, or after the maintenance. Let's get it all together. Let's be professional. Let's release it all in one bunch, right? On Tuesday or Wednesday. Let's bring the community back together and getting into the comfortable state of seeing the news, getting ready, and things like that. The asterisk here, communication improved. I think it kind of goes with news on time. Are they communicating? Are they posting on Facebook? Is there a problem? Are they communicating about that problem? This is something we can look into and review at the end of the month. The next one are just going to be a bunch of bugs. So memory leaks. Now, this has been a problem always with FFBE, where you just randomly will crash. It's not specifically to like the story event was, because that was some weird crashes that would kind of lock you out of the game. This is more, you're just playing the game and you crash and you're like, what the heck? And you load it back up and you just play like normal, right? But you had to deal with that crash. Now, there are a lot of mobile games that don't deal with that. For some reason, ours does. So we'd like to see some improvement there. There are story map text files that are missing. So essentially, you go in and it just says like map or whatever. It's map XXYZZ. We want those to be fixed by the end of the month. This is a very rare bug. I could not replicate it on stream. But if there's an STMR bug floating around, so you have a 7-star and you take a 5-star base and put it into it, you're supposed to get 50% STMR, right? Well, that's happening. However, the game is registering and showing you 0%. Now, it is 50%, believe it or not. So if you take another unit and put it in there, out pops the STMR. But it's still showing 0%, which could cause you to lose track. It's not tracking it correctly. You could accidentally put another 7-star unit into it and waste 50%, or possibly even go ahead and be like, screw it. Boop, boop, click 2, put it in there, and then you waste another 50%, you waste another 5-star base. So while being very rare, and I could not implement it myself or replicate it, it's something to be looked into because that's very bad for the game. It could really cause people some problems. Another bug that I was able to replicate on game is the King Mog maps for Star Quartz. You literally can't use them. At least I can't. And that was both on Android and iOS. I went to King Mog map, went down to Star Quartz, loaded it up, and it says, you have lost connection, and then it just restarts the game. That's not very good as well. There's one more that I don't have listed here that I know of, so just in case anybody out there watches this video that matters, as far as development and fixing bugs, there is one where if you go into the friends, like you click friends, and then you try to click Facebook, the game crashes. It literally, it just goes away. With the Star Quartz one, it refreshes the game, so you are immediately brought back to the white Final Fantasy Brave Exvius screen, but if you do the friends, go to Facebook bug and click it, it literally just crashes the game. It's gone. You're back to your home screen of your phone or whatever you're using. So that is something else. And finally, last but not least, we just want some good bundles for the month. I think good bundles could be every month, at least 1 or 2 every month. Just something we think is valuable, something we can dig our teeth into. It doesn't have to be every week. It doesn't have to be every day. Just 1 or 2 every single month that we think, wow, this is good for the community. We can get some value out of this. So overall, this is the list I have made. We'll be back at the end of March to see how they did. I'm hoping they do well. I'm hoping somehow somebody sees this and sees the things we really think can be done this month to make us feel better about the game, to make some people maybe feel like they can spend again, to make people feel like they can trust in the game again and make it fun again, you know what I mean? So this is what we came up with. Again, if you have any differences of opinion or something maybe you want to add to next month, please feel free to leave that in the comments below, okay guys? So, because I'm going to continue this series. I think it's a great thing. I don't know how I came up with the idea. I did it this morning right before I streamed, so I think it's going to work out for us. I really hope it's something good. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below how you feel in this series, and if you would like anything added to the list for next month or possibly even this month, and I'll try to get back to you, and subscribe for future content. We'll catch you guys in the next video.